Have you ever needed to fire a salesperson, but you're not sure how to go about doing it? There's a clear process, and it's what I like to call give the lad a chance before you sack him, and how you formally would call it a performance improvement plan, or a PIP. My name's Usman, Kayani, and I'm a fractional sales director for multiple 7- and 8-figure businesses. We also consult sales teams at the highest level. Who is this training for? Well, it's for sales managers, CEOs. It could be for business owners that need a systematic approach to firing people, or it could be for sales teams who just need to retain and develop talent. We've got 3 OGs of sales here, Jeremy Miner, Hamosi, and Andy Elliott, all with different approaches, but we can take elements from each of them to be able to implement a clear strategy, but I'll be able to show you the frameworks that we've now used for hundreds of businesses. Why does this training matter? Well, a performance improvement plan, or a PIP, is the last chance for someone to improve. Before you actually decide, I've done everything on my part to be able to give this person a chance to improve. Without a structured PIP, you'll actually struggle with reps who are stagnating the entire team, or they're like a poison where they're hurting the entire team's performance because that one person is allowing you to accept underperformance in the whole team. A PIP should be data-driven with a clear objective. It's not emotional-based. It's clear incentives and clarity on the KPIs that need to be hit. And a well-run PIP will increase a sales rep's improvement. The truth is, if someone's made it to a performance improvement plan, the chance of them actually making it through is very slim. It's very rare that someone makes it past and just turns it around. But one thing that you need clear processes to show the team that you handle underperformance properly. And the other thing is that some people might pull it out the bag. They might just be having a bad month or a bad time. You need to be able to give them an opportunity, and it's your job as a great leader to be able to offer those opportunities to people, not just, hey, you've had a couple of bad days and it's now time to sack you. And the key statistics, because everyone loves some facts, 87% of low performers in sales can improve if you give them a structured coaching plan. That's not a PIP, because a lot of the times with PIPs, they don't come out of it. But if you can build a relevant coaching beforehand, you can get a massive improvement, because salespeople are just no different to sports people. They need regular coaching. Sales teams with structured performance improvement plans will retain 45% of team members. That does not mean 100 people went onto a performance improvement plan and 45% of them came out of it with better performance. What that actually means is when the sales team as a whole see there's processes, we can get a sales team in its entirety to improve, not just the people who are on PIPs. And companies that replace low performers without a PIP will see a 25% drop with morale. Let me give you an example. John starts work. John is a bad performer. Before you know it, he's affecting the whole team because you're accepting underperformance. What you do is you just fire him. That now will drive performance for the next few days or weeks, because people can react with a fear-based mindset. Oh, this is the type of business just to fire people. But what happens after a while is they're not stable in their job. They don't have a reliable place to work. So then you haven't created a good environment for them to learn and develop. You know, a while back in 2018, I was managing one of my first sales teams. And one of my early sales teams, when I was managing them, there was a guy who was just not performing. It had been months. He was always lying about what he's doing. He was misreporting his lead generation. He was not performing right at all. I decided to fire him. I had done the performance improvement plan thoroughly, and the whole team knew and was aware that that person is in a touch and go place. I wouldn't make everyone aware on where he is at with his performance improvement plan. I would keep that private. But with that rep specifically, he knew he had to improve. By the end of month 3 on that performance improvement plan, he came to me and said, I know it's not working out. I think I should just leave. I didn't have to fire him. He knew it's going down a path because of those performance improvement plans were engineered in a way, which is if you're not here to work, you're not going to be here. And he gave me the notice, so then I was able to hire someone far quicker rather than dragging out another month of bad performance from that rep. So people will really recognize when you're doing everything for them, and that embarrassment of them not working when you've done everything to support them with this system I'm going to show you, they will just give you the notice and save you the time and save you that hard conversation. I don't know if it's you. I don't like firing people. There's a system to firing people. Sometimes it has to be done. We're not scared to have it done because it's our business. But when there's times and you've got to avoid that conversation or have it, sometimes it's just better to avoid it because it's just far easier on your mind. Let's dive into the 5-step process, and it's when you can decide if this person needs to be on a PIP. So when to put someone on a PIP, they miss target for 2 or 3 months. Obviously, look, it's a sales job, it's performance based, they're not performing, get them on a PIP. It should be that clear, no matter what the excuse is, unless they are having a real issue that they've articulated to you. Let's say there's a family issue. Would you put someone on a performance improvement plan knowing they've got personal issues going? Well, I would say yes. You may think it's harsh, but a performance improvement plan is there to get them to improve again, not to get them to be sacked. So if someone is struggling because of a serious issue at home, they still go on a performance improvement plan because you can guide them back to good performance. The goal is not to sack them, but it does commonly lead to that. They've been given coaching and show little improvements. You've done everything on your part. They've just not shown improvement. The activity levels and calls, meetings, pipelines are consistently low, and they're resisting feedback and lack of self-awareness. So you give feedback and they're like, no, that's not the case. Or they're not aware of the mistakes they're making. It's very hard to coach someone and develop someone when they resist. If they're accepting and they'll hear you out and they'll embrace it and they'll change, that's when you know they'll be able to take on the coaching. But when do you not put someone on a PIP? It's very clear. It's when they've had one bad month. If they have one bad month, you can't just jump to it because you can just sometimes chalk you up to a bad month. Everyone will have a bad month. Even the best sales reps will have a bad month. You sometimes have to give them an opportunity to win it back. But that's when we can have those conversations about, hey, you're usually pretty good. What's going on right now? And they've had a personal issue affecting their performance, and they now need refocusing. So if it's a personal issue that's been going on for a month, no performance improvement plan. If it's a long-term thing, a performance improvement plan to get them back on track. And if they clearly lack accountability and the ability to do the role, just fire them. You don't need to drag it out for so long. I'm not saying drag out every single process. If they're not doing a good job and you've made it clear, don't sit on that same talent for a lot longer. You're doing them a disservice by getting them to do a job they don't enjoy. You're doing yourself a disservice because they're just throwing away your leads that you've generated. Step 2 is to get clear expectations and deliver this performance improvement plan and have this conversation professionally. So step 1 of this is to be clear and direct about the issue. Your performance has been low. Our expectations in the past were X, Y, Z, and we need this to improve immediately. Sometimes you just have to be direct. If you're someone who struggles to be direct, just take these frameworks and it will allow you to have these clear conversations. If you're struggling to articulate your high standards, you're going to struggle to get high performance from your team because you can't articulate. If you're someone who believes you're too nice inside, you need this structure. You need a structure to show you what's too nice and what's not too nice because it just adds a logical approach. And step 2 is to show them data and make that the objective. So your closing rate is 12%, but the team's average is 20%. Your daily calls are at 40, but our standard is at 80 plus. So you can make it on call volume, you can make it on close rate. Make it statistical, not emotional. Make it a logical conversation rather than emotional. Emotional conversations will say, but I feel like, where statistical conversations, it's like, okay, I've not done that, but I can try to do this. So it's very easy and very clear. Point number 3 is to deliver a PIP as a last chance of improvement. It's to actually embrace them and give them a chance to improve. So tell them that you believe in them, which is why they're giving them a structured plan. If you did not care, you would not be giving them this level of support. However, if there's no improvement in the next 30 days, we'll need to discuss parting ways. It's just a nice way to say, if there's no improvement, you're getting sacked. But you need to say it in a delicate way. You don't want to hurt this person in a way where they don't want to perform for you. Imagine someone in your business and they get leads and they're purposely hurting it. Some people will do that. This is why this conversation has to be done delicately. And step 4 is to get their buy-in and commitment. So do you believe that you can hit these goals? What do you need from us to succeed? Ask them, do you believe that you can do it? And if they sound unsure, support them. Tell them it's to get them back on track. Tell them that you want them there. Tell them that you want them to improve. An easy way to have this conversation is one that I had recently, which was, I know that you can do the job. I know that you're highly capable. And I know that you can do it if you try. Do you think you can put in the next 30 days of effort for me and for yourself to be able to hit these numbers? Yes or no? If it's a no, have a conversation. If it's yes, you've both agreed. So that's a very simple system there. And then we've got step 3, which is to clear a clear, measurable 30-day plan. You've got these 5 infinity stones, but we've only got 4 points, and I'll share the 4 points with you. Number 1 is quantitative performance goals. I need the close rate at this percent. Currently it's at 12%. I need you at 20%. within the next 30 days. So you're setting the bar where it needs to be as a minimum, not the maximum. Your team might be closing at 35, 40%, but you need to set the minimum standard that you want them to achieve. And if it's a setter, I need at least $200 from you. I need at least 80 calls. I need at least 40 calls. You just need to give them the exact number of what you need. And book at least 5 appointments a day instead of 3. So tell them you're doing this right now, but I need this. So you need to be able to give them clear numbers. Step 2 is activity targets, daily and weekly benchmarks. So say, all right, this is the metrics that I need from you, and the daily targets that I need and the weekly targets that I need. Make it so clear and get their buy-in to be able to do that. Step 3 is to coach and support. Now, what you've done with those KPIs is you've given them high accountability. You can't give them high accountability without high support, because what will happen is they just won't improve and won't perform, and it'll hurt your bottom line. Your job is to give them the equal amount of coaching and support. And that will be like daily check-ins. So if you're the sales manager or the CEO, you're giving them daily check-ins, you're giving them live calls, you're reviewing 3 of their calls per week at least, and extra role plays and script adjustments if needed. So you're giving them the support to improve your role playing, your drilling, you're listening to them, you're giving them feedback. And what consequences if targets aren't met? The consequences are by day 15, if you don't see improvement, we'll adjust the plan and move towards termination. Make it clear that you don't want to let them go and you want them there. Tell them, you need to improve because our business needs a standard. But if there's no improvement, we will have to discuss termination. Step 4 is to hold weekly check-ins and track progress or replace. So how to run a weekly check-in is to review the data of the ongoing numbers throughout the week based upon what you did in step 3, where you set them all up, assess their effort and skill growth, talk about their struggles, talk about what they're working on, talk about their improvement, provide feedback, and adjust strategy. So let's tweak your script. Here's what to improve. So give them feedback and allow them to have the time to improve and reinforce the consequences. We're halfway through. You need to step up. Now, you may think this is aggressive, where you're saying, oh, you need to step up. Your job's on the line. Remember, this has happened for months. This is not the first time bad performance has happened. This person has been underperforming for a long time. So now it's time to bring the heat. Now is the time to have those structured conversations with clear check-ins every single week where you're reminding them of the consequences, not threatening them. There's a big difference in your tonality. Your tonality is all supportive and all helpful, making it clear that you want them there, but also making it clear what happens if they don't. And step 5 is to finally review and decide if the rep stays or leaves. So if the rep stays and shows improvement, they'll stay and transition back to the normal performance and tracking. They'll continue their weekly coaching to maintain the momentum that they've already got, and they'll set new stretch goals. So you'll now have new goals set for the person. I really hope that they can improve. But in times that they don't improve, what must you do? Well, it's moving them to termination, no more second chances, conduct an exit conversation. Most businesses never do this. And I did this with a business owner recently. One of our clients, he owns a business making $4 million a year, and it was time to let a rep go. I asked him to do the exit interview. He did the exit interview, and it turns out that this person was getting bullied by the operations manager. This person was getting, well, he had accusations of all of this happening. He didn't feel comfortable to say this during the job, but once he had lost his job, he had told him there was actually a lot of pressure from him, from the ops manager, and they were constantly clashing. It turns out when we were back to calls, the ops manager wasn't a very nice person, was actually being quite horrible to this sales rep. And that gave us a completely different story, what's happening in the operations side of your business. Always give people a chance and hear them out, but just know there could be something happening in your business that you don't even know. Ensure the team morale stays high by reinforming performance culture. So you want to remind everyone that people are here for a job, that they're here to be able to perform. If they're not performing, they're not going to stay. And a lot of the times when you let someone go in this way, everybody else starts to perform. You know, where you sacrifice one to be able to inspire the others. Unfortunately, that does happen in sales, where one person's let go and all of a sudden everyone else's performance improves. You've also removed the poison from the room as well. And when you do that, a lot of the times everyone benefits because that person just wasn't a good fit. And the final takeaways for this, so you can actually implement this PIP. And if you need a performance improvement plan, comment below. Tell us if you want a template. Maybe we can put one in the community for you and give you a template of what a good performance improvement plan would look like. But use a PIP when reps have struggled for 2 to 3 months. That's when you do it. So if they struggle for 1 month, give them a chance. But if it's now 2 to 3 months with no improvement, it's time to bring a PIP in. Make the goals clear measurable and time bound. So if you know the SMART methods, make sure they have a structured approach where they can achieve them. Coach aggressively. So track progress weekly and adjust on their progress. Coaching aggressively, what that basically means is you will spend time with them. You will spend enough time where they can legit improve. And after 30 days, make a firm decision if there's no endless extensions. Don't do this thing which is, okay, we'll wait another month. Okay, we'll wait another month. If it's me, I don't need a sob story. If I've given you enough notice, it's not going on. Most people, when we look at their performance, the CEO doesn't have the leadership skills, the sales manager doesn't have the leadership skills, and it just leads to people lingering around and not getting the support, not getting the accountability, which you end up with a low performing business because of that culture. And protect the team culture. This is at all costs. If you protect the team culture and you think about, how do I make sure the people in my team behave as I need them to when I'm not there? So when the boss isn't there, how are they behaving? And that's the culture. You want to encourage that culture to be high performance and to match the core values of your business. If you want more of these Miro boards and you want more access to even more of these resources, we have a free community right here, Guided Growth. Join, have full access to a lot of these resources. We don't charge you anything for these resources. We put out a lot of content. So if you're enjoying it, comment below, share on your social media, send people to watch these videos because we make very niche sales related content. I've not seen any of this content anywhere else, and I want to be able to provide content that nobody can compete with and is at the highest level, and it's all for free. I'll catch you on the next one.